Over the years, many people have asked me how many deaf priests there are in the world. And I have to tell you, I really don't like answering that question for two specific reasons. First of all, I really do not like math. When I was growing up, math was not one of my better subjects, and I barely passed any of my math classes that I took. Whether it was algebra or geometry, didn't matter, I just didn't like them. Another reason is that it's very difficult, in terms of deciding who is deaf, who's culturally deaf. It's a very difficult question to answer. I don't want to eliminate somebody or segregate who we are as deaf priests. But I would say in terms of deaf priests that sign, that are culturally deaf, that work in the deaf community, I would say probably 15 or maybe a little bit less. I'm not counting priests who have become deafened later in life. I'm talking about people that grow up deaf or in the deaf community that socialize with deaf people on a regular basis. So I would probably say there are around 15 of us in the world. That may seem kind of shocking. Well, a lot of people have never met a deaf priest. Since I've become a priest, it seems that responses have been mostly favorable in terms of me as a deaf man being a priest. There have been a few occasions where I've met other priests and bishops and they're not quite sure about me as a priest, or they even wonder, how could a deaf man be a priest? That shouldn't have happened. And that's quite difficult for me sometimes, and it upsets me. But let me ask you, does that mean that I'm better than them? No, it doesn't. Because there have been times in my life where I've wrongly judged other people and made some assumptions. Let me give you an example. I once met a hearing person who had no high school education, so immediately I made some suppositions about who they were, about their reading and writing ability. However, after getting to know them a little bit, I realized just how extremely intelligent the person was, and I wrongly judged them based on those assumptions. Today's gospel gives us a similar story, where Jesus is back home in his village, and his relatives and his friends from his village look at him and think that he is nothing special. They know who he is. They don't really accept Jesus as a prophet. And because of this, and because of their lack of faith, Jesus couldn't perform any great miracles there. And that really made me think that there have been times probably where God has called on other people to come into our lives to help us, but because we judge that person or make assumptions about them, about their importance or unimportance, that we haven't allowed God to work through them to help us. So the gospel really challenges us to think about that and to think about how can we become more open to allowing other people into our lives and working with us without judging them. May God bless you.